It actually, I think, really did help. I shut everything off in my room, put the device on, and I didn't even really have to focus on the sensation. It just kind of was, I think, something my mind focused on versus actively focusing on it. So I used the device right when I went to sleep. I honestly didn't even feel it shut off. I think I fell asleep relatively quickly. I woke up around 3:30, somewhere around there, and I did put the device, push the button again, and again I only stayed awake for that one cycle. I didn't have to re-push the button or anything. So best, I guess, is the number one thing. I mean, it was only one night, but I will say that it helped me fall asleep much faster than usual. I feel like usually I wake up, I get up, I go to the bathroom, I read a book. I'm not, you know, I'm a clock watcher, so I watch and see how much time has passed before I fall asleep. I didn't have to do that last. It did help. I would honestly say I fell asleep much faster than usual. I didn't clock watch or feel like it was taking me a long time to fall asleep. And it was kind of like a sound machine type distraction, like white noise, but just giving your brain something to focus on instead of just laying awake. But again, I wasn't really focusing on it. It was just something that was like happening on the side, and I guess just helped me relax or help me kind of not think about anything. My first night, I would say, was a success. I used it twice and fell asleep both times before the cycle went off. I feel pretty rested, and I think overall pretty good success. Still have two pulses. I only had to push it once, and I was asleep within the first round. I guess I am curious how long each round is. I never actually calculated that yet. But then my 4-year-old woke me up at about 2:30 in the morning, and I forgot I was wearing the device, and it took me forever to fall back asleep, and then I pushed the button, and it did help me fall back asleep pretty quickly. Again, I wore the device on my left wrist. That's the easiest place for me to use it. No issues. I actually forgot I was even wearing it. Sometimes I do wear bracelets and jewelry to bed, so it kind of just blended in. I forgot I had it on until I couldn't fall asleep, and pretty good. I did use it twice again. And again, the second time I laid in bed for probably 15-20 minutes before I used the device, and then I was able to fall asleep once I did put the device button on. Truly, I do think it works. I think like what I said the other day, it is kind of like a sound machine, but just a distraction that's more internal. Like you don't realize that something's distracting you, but your mind is not able to wander as much because you're on the back of your mind paying attention to something on you physically. I would say this has been more successful than I was previously thinking. Going to sleep, I used it, fell right asleep, and then the second time when I did wake up to use it, not using it, I was awake longer than using it. I would say give it a shot. I would say, I don't know how it does it, but it does kind of calm your mind, or it kind of makes your mind not be able to race as much or think about what you have to do in the next day, or think about how many hours you have left before you have to fall back asleep. It kind of just takes that away. It kind of just blends into your brain and takes you from thinking as much about other things, because you're focusing on something else in the distance of your brain, if that makes sense. Overall, I really like it more than I thought, to be honest. So I have one more night to try it, and I'll report back on my day 4 morning. Thanks. Put it on, fell right asleep. I used the device in the night one time. I woke up, my 3-year-old wanted a bottle, so I got him a bottle. And then laid down, and instead of waiting, I just put it back on and pushed the button and went right back to sleep. So going to bed, and then around, I would say about 4 in the morning, which is usually a really rough time for me, because then I only have like 2 hours left to sleep. So if I don't fall asleep fast, I keep watching the clock and saying, oh, I only have 20 minutes left, 30 minutes left. So as soon as I got back into bed, I put the device on and fell asleep. It was really good. I have nothing but positive things to say. I don't fully understand how it works or what makes it calm you enough to fall asleep without having to use any medicine or do any sort of other interventions, but something about it just makes you really focus on not other stuff in your brain, and mostly just on the wrist or wherever you put the pulsing. Overall, it exceeded my expectations. I had pretty low expectations because I've tried a lot of things, and usually middle of the night wake-ups are pretty bad for me because it's hard to go right back to sleep. But overall, I can honestly say this helped. And I think I also kind of became a comfort towards the last night because I knew it had helped me before, so having that as like, oh, that'll help me fall back asleep, kind of made me feel better and maybe made me relax, maybe made me fall back asleep easier. So I'd say the benefit of the device is it really does kind of distract and calm your mind. I can see this being integrated like I just did, having it as in my arsenal of, if this doesn't work, then try this. If this doesn't work, try this. So if I'm unable to fall asleep, or if I'm woken up in the middle of the night, this would be probably my first line of defense because, you know, I've used a glass of wine before, or like a Unisom or Tylenol PM. So this kind of stopped those for the last few days. What would I say? So I think it's really great for parents because sleep is really valuable, and a lot of times I'm having a hard time going to sleep or staying asleep or being woken up multiple times. So this would be a really good first line of defense to try if you're having trouble falling asleep. Really good. You know, keep right by your bedstand after you wash your face, brush your teeth. You know having it there, and if it takes you a little while to fall asleep, put it on. But you know, it's something that really worked without having to use you know, maybe more harmful or addicting ways to fall asleep or stay asleep.